எழுத்தறிவித்தவன் இறைவன் ஆகும். He who teaches the alphabet, the guru, can be considered as God.
Writing is one of the finest fruits of human endeavor. Along with speech, it represents the instrument of culture and civilization. Letters and numerals have played a vital part in the technological revolution. It is therefore that anthropologists, prehistorians, and archaeologists have labored hard for years to know the origin and development of writing. Writing, thus, is an extension of speech. It arose out of severe social necessity. The earliest pieces of writing, the pictographs, were only recorded gestures. It is certain for a fact that both speech and writing had necessarily coeval origin in imitative gestures. They must then be viewed integrally and interpreted physiologically too. There is some basis for this approach because both speaking and writing are but two forms of one same process. The development of writing presents no great difficulty. The stages through which the writing has passed are pictograms, pictures or actual representations of objects, ideograms, pictures, symbols which are used to suggest objects or abstract ideas, phonograms, graphic symbols of sounds. They have usually arisen out of conventionalized ideograms which have been taken to represent sounds instead of things. Verbal signs representing entire words. Syllabic signs, which stands for articulation of which words are composed. Alphabetic letters. Alphabetic letters represents the elementary sounds into which syllable can be resolved. Before the Aryans came to India, the Dravidians occupied the entire land, and they being culturally more advanced than the Aryans, they invented the art of writing. It is believed that both Grantha and Nagari are evolved from the Brahmi. The Grantha from the Tamil country and Nagari from North India.
Idat annishtagam madrumam aloham visitra chittena nirmapitam nipena lakshitayatanam.
But after the advent of Nagari in South India, the indigenous Grantham has almost disappeared and may even become extinct in due course. It is true that Tamil was a highly developed language with literature and grammatical content and works of its own, even before the starting of the historical period. It has been noticed that the Jaina works, the Sanavainga Sutta and Pannavana Sutta, mention that 18 varieties of scripts were prevalent in the country in early times. Of the several scripts mentioned in them, the following four seems to be important and historically true. They are Brahmi or Bambi, Kharoshti or Kharoti, Dravidi or Tamili, Yavananya or Yavanaliya. Of the four scripts mentioned, Yavananya is evidently the script of Yavanas or Greeks and is identical with Yavanani. Kharoshti is the name of the script written from right to left, and it was in prevalent usage in the northwestern parts of India. Brahmi is the name of the script which was prevalent practically throughout India. All the modern scripts of India are derivatives of the script by evolution. The Dravidi or the Tamili was a script used for writing the early Dravidian language. The existing Tamil script, as well as the one which has disappeared, the Vatteluthu, are also the derivatives of the Dravidi script. Tamil is a very old language claiming great antiquity. Even during the earliest known period of South Indian history, we find that the language was fully developed and its grammar was worked to its minutest detail. The early literary works in Tamil contains references to the art of writing in South India. The Thirukkural opens with the couplet, Agara Mudala Ezhuthellam Adi Bhagavan Mudathre Ulagu. All the letters begin with the letter A, that is Agaram. The world begins from the Lord, the first creator, Adi, that is Bhagavan. Another couplet compares the two, that is the letters and the numerals, the writing and the arithmetic, to the two eyes of a man. Yennenba yena ezhuthenba ivirendum kannenba vaalum uyirku. The Tolkappiyam is the earliest of Tamil grammatical works. According to tradition, Tolkappiyam was composed by Tolkappiyar, a disciple of Agathiyar. Tolkappiyam was written by Tolkappiyar after a careful study of all the treatises on Tamil grammar, on the model of ஐந்திரம்.
ஐந்து திறம் என்பது எழுத்து, சொல், பொருள், யாப்பு, அணி என்கின்ற அந்த ஐந்து திறன்கள் தான்.
According to Tolkappiyam, the Tamil alphabet consists of 30 primary sounds, 12 vowels and 18 consonants, and 3 secondary ones. The secondary ones are explained in the next sutra. These are Kuriyalangaram, further shortened to Ukkuriyalangaram, further shortened to Aidam.
குற்றியலிகரம், குற்றியலுகரம், ஆயுதம் மூன்றும் புள்ளி பெறும் என்று தொல்காப்பியர் சொல்லுகிறார்.
The old commentary on the Yaparangalam, a work on Tamil prosody, dealing with what a scholar should be familiar with, mentions various kinds of writing and quotes the following sutras. உருவே உணர்வே ஒளியே தன்மையென இருவகை எழுத்தும் ஈரிரண்டாகும். The எழுத்து, letter or writing is divided into 4 kinds: uru, unarvu, oli and tanmai. The first two forming one group and the second another. The present form of Tamil alphabet came into existence from the times the Tamil books started getting published. It may be concluded that the current form of Tamil letters came into usages in these 200 years period, earlier to which there was a huge metamorphosis which was going on continuously in the shaping of these letters. The ancient form of Tamil letters could be seen in the inscriptions, copper plates and manuscripts. Tamil manuscripts dating back to the 7th century can be available for references even now. From this we get to understand that there were two forms of letters prevailing even in those days: Tamil Eluthu and Vatteluthu. Tamil Eluthu was the ancient form of the present day's alphabets. Such writing can be found in the Tondai Mandalam and the Cholamandalam regions during the Pallava period. Vatteluthu was a very ancient type of writing which used curved lines. These manuscripts can be found in the Chera and the Pandya regions, which belong to the period of 8th and 11th centuries. It is well understood from the stone inscriptions and copper plates that the first emperor of Pandya dynasty and kings of Cheran dynasty used only Vatteluthu. King Rajaraja Chola I was instrumental in changing the Vatteluthu usage to Tamil Eluthu in the Pandya region after his victory over the Pandyas. This evidence can be found in the 2 stone inscriptions at the Thirukutralam in the Tirunelveli districts. Hence it can be understood that the present form of Tamil letters came into practice in the 11th century BC. Few researchers opine that Pallava kings formed the Tamil Eluthukal using the letters Granth, and it was used during the period of Chola and Tondaimandalam regions. But earlier to the formation of Tamil Eluthu by the Pallavas, Vatteluthu was in use. During the Kadai Sanga Kalam, the Tamil Eluthukal used in the Chera and the Chola regions were known as Kannelutthukal. It is sufficiently substantiated in Silappatikaram as Kanneluthalar Kaval Vendan Mannudai Mudangalam Mannavar Kalithu 20,000 Kanneluthu Padudana Kaipunai Sagadamum. This is clearly evident from the words of Ilango Adigalar that the Kannelutthukal and the Vattelutthukal were one and the same, and it was prevalent in the early Tamil Nadu. Since these letters had the shape of an eye and was in rounded form, they were probably called so. But the point to be noted here is that the present Tamil alphabets were reformed by Pallavas using Granth and Vatteluthu. Tolkappiyar from his days insisted that the usage of Sanskrit should be avoided and Tamil letters must be used instead. It is clear from the following example, which is found in the Echaviyar Sutra. Vadasor Kilavi, Vadaveluttoriyi, Eluthodu Punarnda Sollagume.
வடவெழுத்துகளை அதிகமாக கொண்டதும் அல்லாமல், தமிழ் எழுத்துக்களை அதிகமாக கொண்டதும் இல்லாமல், தமிழ் எழுத்துக்கும் வட எழுத்துக்கும் பொதுவான எழுத்துக்களை கொண்ட சொற்களை கொண்டதாகும்.
Yet again, Tolkappiyar had specified that மெய் எழுத்துக்கள், அகர எழுத்துக்கள் and ஓங்கார எழுத்துக்கள் should get a dot. This is explained in the following sutras. மெய்யின் இயற்கை புள்ளியோடு நிலையில் எகர ஒகரத்தில் இயற்கையும் அற்றே உட்பெரு புள்ளி உருவாக்குமே. From these sutras, it is obvious that Tamil had a definite script form from the ancient times. It could be understood that the Brahmi letters of the times of Emperor Ashoka could have come to Tamil Nadu through the Samana saints and got into the local usage in the 1st century BC. Tamil is a syllabic alphabet in which all consonants have an inherent vowel, the uyir. The basic consonants are also called the body letters, the மெய் எழுத்து. The non-standard consonant, the vowel combinations The 6 consonants known as Grantha letters are used to write consonants borrowed from Sanskrit. The numerals rarely appear in modern texts. The other symbols which denotes day, month, year, det, as above sign, rupee and numeral sign. Tamil letters are also used to indicate the notes of Carnatic music. The notes are sa, re, ga, ma, pa, dha, ni. As mentioned earlier, the writing started from palm leaves, stone writings and copper plates. In the process of writing on different materials, the shape of the letters also changed. In this palm leaf, the letters are made up mainly of curved strokes which didn't rip the leaves. Likewise, in this stone inscriptions, the shape of the letters changed due to the hard surface of the stone. Nowadays, writing on stone is so easy because of the modern writing tools. On the latter period, when land deeds etc. were to be registered, we had documents written on stamp papers called pattiram, in which writing got a different shape. It is to be noted that handwriting changes from person to person also. In schools, while developing handwriting, the learners are advised to use 4-line notes to improve the shape and handwriting. Apart from this, the writing takes different shape, size and texture according to the materials like writing on a canvas, writing on a wall, signboards, etc.
The first printing press was inaugurated by the Christian missionaries. The sole credit goes to those people belonging to the Christian community. They imported printing fonts in Latin and Portuguese in 1577 from Europe and established a printing press in Goa and published books on Latin and Portuguese. Tamilians can take pride to claim that the first printed book was in their own Tamil language among the other Indian languages, which was also published by the Christian missionary. First printing press in Tamil was developed and commissioned by Father John D. Faria in Tamil Nadu at Punnaikayil in Pescaria Pearl Fishery Coast of Tuticorin. The requirements for the Tamil printing press were brought from Goa in the year 1577. Evidences for this is mentioned by Father Francis de Sousa in his book Oriento Conquistado, which quotes the history of the Christian diocese. The efforts of Father John D. Faria and the developments in printing technology brought the press in Pescaria Pearl Fishery Coast to Tuticorin successfully. To enable printing in Tamil, he developed Tamil fonts in metal and used it for printing. The first book printed in India was Thambiran Vanakkam in Tamil in 1577. It was written by Henriques and it was a translation of a Christian religious book. After about 100 years, a new Tamil press was started in Ambalakkadu near Cochin. Only after the failure of Punnaikayil, the printing at Ambalakkadu started developing. To trace its activity, we have to mention Father Anton D. Proenka and Father Robert D. Nobile, as they are known as the first Tamil lexicographers. Between 1605 and 1656, Father Robert D. Nobile wrote a number of books in Tamil such as Jnana Upadesam, Atma Nirnayam, Jnana Lakshanam, Jnana Vilakam and Viswasa Sallabham. Printing press in Madras rather started in a careless way. In 1761 AD, Sir Erie Coot captured Pondicherry from the French and in the governor's house was found a printing press and types. These were brought back to Madras as part of the loot, but Fort St. George was not able to make use of them as they did not have a printer. Mr. Fabricus, the great Tamil scholar, was then living at Viperi, Madras, and the equipment was handed over to him under the condition that at any future time the company wanted to do any printing, then he should do it for them. This was the commencement of the SPCK press at Viperi, now known as the Dacian press. It can claim to be, by many years, the oldest existing press in India. The advent of the Protestant missionaries in the 18th century was the beginning of a new era in the development of Tamil typography. The Tamil type for the Travancore press was first cut at Halle in Germany in 1710 AD. The type was of a big size and was modeled based on the Tamil manuscripts and inscriptions of the 15th and 16th centuries. The missionaries of Jaffna in Ceylon called this as the elephant-footed type, and it was lacking in accuracy in some words. This necessitated Bartholomew Segan Polk to set up a foundry at Tranque Bar to improve and cast new types. Adler, a godly German layman and letter founder, prepared smaller fonts of the letters. Even that being crude and occupying much space, a smaller type had to be invented. Tamil typography owes its present excellence to Mr. P.R. Hunt of the American Mission Press. With much labor, he had superintended cutting off the punches of the several fonts, even the smallest size, which is called a brevier, which he had prepared in America. Dr. S.R. Ranganathan, who made a revolution in library movements, also speaks highly of Mr. Hunt as follows. The peak of Tamil printing was under the old conditions of hand-cast type and hand presses. The American Mission had set up a press in Broadway and in Madras for many years, and it was under the management of a very fine printer, Mr. P.R. Hunt. The specimen of printing shows the state of Tamil printing to recent improvements. Tamil typography has undergone many changes during centuries and has finally settled down on the point system. Tamil fonts were made from 8 points to 72 points of the same family and used for printing. There are innumerable varieties of fonts which are also available for printing. To popularize the language and to increase the efficiency of Tamil language, new writing devices for printing are required in these modern days. The following are the various developments of writing on paper: pencil writing, pen writing, ballpoint pen writing. Typewriter was a writing device since 1932 and was an effective usage for official documents. In this typewriter, when a May letter had to be typed, the key has to be typed twice. To type the letter Nu, 3 keys have to be typed. The most interesting and very useful invention of the 20th century is the computer. This has amazing efficiency. Here, certain letters need not be typed twice, like in the typewriter. The latest software on Tamil fonts provides an easy way of typing the subject matter in Tamil English to get the Tamil letters. The drafts typed in the computer can be stored, altered and made into any number of printouts in a very short time. The most difficult, complicated and slowest in the process of printing is the composing of letters. The face of the letter, that is, the type of the letter, is very important because it would be printing the print letter. This face will be broader or narrower depending on the letter. Apart from manual composing, there are also machine composing. In machine composing, the letters are typed, they are molded and then they are made into casting letters and then composed. There are 2 types of composing machines. They are linotype and monotype. In linotype, every line or sentence is cast in an alloy. This was invented by Otamer Mergenthaler, an American, in 1886. Monotype machine was invented by Talbot Langston in 1891. In this machine, every letter is casted and used. So, when the proofreading is done, the typo errors are easily rectified by only replacing that particular letter. The latest method of printing is offset printing. Cameras are fixed and the photos casted for linotype and monotypes are photographed and a photo plate is taken out for printing. This is the latest photo offset printing technology. Modern typesetting and electronic scanning can rapidly provide digitized forms of image that can be stored on computer, manipulated, transmitted by satellite and reproduced on film or paper worldwide. Now, the DTP is playing a vital role in the printing industry. By programming, one can create graphics, do Photoshop work with Quark Express and the work can be completed in a very short duration. Thus, The long process of composing, relief printing and the great labor involved has been replaced by this modern system of desktop printing. Alphabet is known as Nedunganakku in Tamil. This name could have been given since Tamil is in use since very long time. There is a massive development in the technology of various other fields, likewise in the development of languages also. It is essential for the ancient Tamil language to be modernized to become a renowned language of the world. It is apprehensive whether Tamil would reach the position of English in printing and typewriting because of the number of alphabets in Tamil. It means English has only 26 alphabets whereas Tamil has 247. உயிர் எழுத்துக்கள் 12, மெய் எழுத்துக்கள் 18, உயிர்மெய் எழுத்துக்கள் 216, ஆயுதம் 1. Totally 247, and to add on to the supporting phonetics, it was calculated that the total number of Tamil alphabets will come to 369. It is beyond doubt that the letters attained their final shape after having many changes from the age of Tolkappiyar. Though there are 247 letters in the Tamil phonetics, the written form are only 131. The distribution of the letters are as உயிர் எழுத்துக்கள் 11, மெய் எழுத்துக்கள் 18, அகர உயிர்மெய் எழுத்துக்கள் 18, இகர உயிர்மெய் எழுத்துக்கள் 18, ஈகார உயிர்மெய் எழுத்துக்கள் 18, உகர உயிர்மெய் எழுத்துக்கள் 18, ஊகார உயிர்மெய் எழுத்துக்கள் 18, நா, ந, ரா, நை, நை, லை, லை 7, உயிர்க்குறி symbols 4, ஆயுதம் 1. Totally 131. The Tamil poet Tirupulavar Kuzhandai shrunk these 131 letters into 47 in a modern way and also suggests that Tamil could be written well within these 47 letters. He worked it out like உயிர் எழுத்துக்கள் 10, மெய் எழுத்துக்கள் 18, அகர உயிர்மெய் எழுத்துக்கள் 18, ஆயுதம் 1. He also suggests that Sanskrit letters like Ha can be written using ஆயுதம். For example, Fakhruddin as Fakhruddin. Even the English words could also be written with these 47 letters like France to Pransu in Tamil. The grammar books by themselves would agree for the change of I as I and also accepted the change of A and O Tamil Nedilgal to A and O altered by Veerama Munivar. Once the dotted Kutriya Lugaram presently is not dotted. The உயிர்மெய் letter which denotes a நெடில் எழுத்து ka was changed to ka because the dot after ka was misunderstood for a full stop. The accountants of the earlier times used to write with the symbol of E to mean E like E, and the word vattam was written like vatam. The letters it and ta were jointly written was accepted, though this practice is not prevalent anymore. Technical difficulties in Tamil printing because of its number and enormous types. This was felt from Veerama Munivar until Periyar EVR, and that is why they made attempts to reform the Tamil typos. Periyar EVR quotes, "Due to the intellectual evolution, new techniques and equipments have emerged. This made us to understand the necessity of reforming the Tamil typos. This reformation is a must for this modern technological development." Moreover, the excess expenditure in composing and printing were realized. As a result, the editors of Kumaran, Kudiyarasu, Paguttarivu, Vidudalai and Sudesimitran showed keen interest in decreasing the Tamil alphabets, and this reforming led them for a cost-effective printing. In an issue published on 20/1/1935 in Kudiyarasu, the reduction of Tamil letters to 54 was explained. The letter Na could be printed as a single letter was also thought about. Likewise, efforts were made to develop and reform letters to suit the Tamil printing. Tamil papers played a major role in reforming the letters of the language. Research articles that were published in papers were more in number when compared to the books that were published. Books on Tamil letter form and Tamil form of Sanskrit phonetics were also published. In the book Tamil Ezhuthu Murayum, Uchcharipu Murayum by Mr. M. Rangacharya, the Tamil form of Sanskrit phonetics were introduced. Further, he included 3 உயிர் எழுத்துக்கள் and 23 உயிர்மெய் எழுத்துக்கள், extending the Tamil Nedunganakku. In 1930, the editor of the magazine Kumaran from Karaikudi, Thiru Murugappa, changed the உயிர்மெய் வடிவம் of 13 letters Na, Ra, Na, Nai, Lai, Lai, Nai, no, ro, no, no, ro, no. He was the first man who was very interested in bringing about changes. The role of Periyar E.V. Ramasamy has immense importance and needs to be mentioned. In 1934, through his magazine Paguttarivu, he recommended the use of na, na, nai and 13 Uyirmai letters, and also suggested that the usage of only 54 letters will bring great reformation to the Tamil language in the following order. Uyir Ezhuthukal 10, Uyirmai Ezhuthukal 18, Otru Ezhuthu 19, symbols 7 to a total of 54. He also changed I, Au, Kai and Kau to I, Av, Kai and Kau respectively. He did exclusive research in Tamil alphabets and set a path to bring them down to 27 and 29 instead of 247 and 251. In case of 27, it was Uyir 10, May 15, Ayudham 1 and May Kurippu 1. In case of 29, it was Uyir 5, May 15, special symbols 8 and Ayudham 1. The reformation done to the Tamil letters through his principles, research and his ideas were brought out to the public to practice through his organizational newspapers as well as by his publications were commendable. In 1948, Tamil Ezhuthu Seerthirtham, published by Pulavar Kuzhandai in this year, made a record and backed a great appreciation for his research work on Tamil. In 1951, the editor Pena Oti in his books printed the A, A and O as A, A and O and explained the goodness of such reforms. From 1952 to 1961, Professor T.P. Meenakshi Sundaram in his research papers on Tamil culture strongly recommended for the reduction of Tamil alphabet numbers to 57. In his article on Tamil script reform, he suggested that instead of writing E, it could be written like E. The letter Au should be changed to Au. Apart from the above mentioned Tamil scholars, there are few others who are still doing their research on this reformation. Press is a very good media for advertisements. Newspapers and magazines share and give news to the public. Particularly during the times of social and political restlessness, the role of media in bringing out the news to the people is commendable. The publications could be categorized into 4 types. They are dailies, weeklies, fortnights and monthly. Politics, social, economics, religion, fine arts, literature, culture, astrology, mathematics, science and technology, employment, agriculture, computer, business, commerce, industries, sports, entertainment, international news and much more are published through press media. The editorial plays a very important role in the outlook of people towards the social scenarios. The fate of many political parties are even rewritten by the editorials of newspapers and magazines. The cartoons and tidbits provide news with good humor and analyze the situation of the political parties. And finally, it makes people decide themselves. Human language, by virtue of its structural complexities and productive nature, is a fascinating phenomenon for professional researchers. Tamil as a living language has a long and unbroken literary and grammatical traditions. It has so much to offer to the study of literary and linguistic systems with modern descriptive tools.